Good morning, everyone, and a happy new year to you all. You're welcome once again to today's program, which promises to be a great one. My name is Princess Abuna Indom, and I'm the coordinator for American Kana at BOBA at Mobile Web Ghana. American Spaces provides access to current and reliable information about the United States through book collections, internet access, events, and activities for everyone. So today we are going to look at an interesting topic, which is very important, on how to be hacked through PDFs, images, and links. This discussion will be facilitated by Stephen Donko, who is a coordinator with the Ghana Youth Internet Governance Forum, and Ismail Yushao, who also works with the National Information Technology Agency, known as NITA, as a network security specialist. During the session, please type all your comments or questions in the comment section below, and they will be addressed. And so without much ado, I'm going to hand over to Stephen and Ismail to take over the discussion. Hello, Stephen.
Hello, Princess. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And Happy New Year to you and everybody joining the call today. It's exciting for me to have this presentation because over the days, even the holidays, we've seen a couple of things happening on a couple of social media platforms, either Beats and WhatsApp or what's our view. There's been some of them we were able to caution them to say that no, this is a fake link, this is a false link, it might cause you harm and good, you don't want to click on it. So I'm going through all those period. We thought it wise to educate people and enlighten people some of the dangers we can actually face. We just clicking links that we know nothing about, even though we think that they're just mere links we are clicking that was shared by a friend. So before this presentation, I actually generated one of those similar links as well. I shared with a couple of my friends to share an article with them, not knowing that I would be using that for the purpose of demonstration today. But whatsoever as it is we are doing today, I want to place a disclaimer. Everything is for the educational purposes only. We are not attempting to hack anybody's account, or we're just trying to educate people that these things are out there, and we need to be extra careful when we meet or we see some of those similar things on whichever network as it is we find ourselves. So most of the things as it is we do today will be in a controlled environment. From if the server is ready to do the demonstration of how to hack a mobile phone or a computer, will all be in a controlled environment, put it on a public network, so that we can actually control the effect of whatever as it is we are doing. So I'll just jump quickly into the presentation for today. We are hoping today's presentation will be more of an interactive one, where we will get more questions than what it is we want to be able to say. So I'm going to present just about a 4-page slider. We just have information on just 2. And then the rest would lead us to the demonstration section to show some of the items or the things as it is we are talking about. So before I start any demonstration, I want to bring this page back, which is one of the presentation I had made earlier on the same platform about digital footprints. We are currently in one of the most advanced, technologically improved, should I say, century as it stands now. We've been one of the generation that has seen all the improvement in technology, fast technology, AI, and all those things. But one of the things as it is sometimes we forget or we do not know is that all those devices as it is we are using, we actually create what we call digital footprints. So digital footprints as it is would say are just digital signatures or digital traces of things as it is we are doing on the internet, be it from the computer or from our mobile devices. But one of the things which I also want to emphasize is that most of the mobile devices as it is we are using currently, they are some of them that are even powerful than some of the laptops as it is we use. So you don't want to be deceived. Some of those devices you are holding in your hands has the power to cause even harm to either you and even probably your work network without you knowing. So today, all the demos or the experiments or other information we would like to share, some of them will be based on some of those digital footprints as it is we might have created online or on the internet, just because we had access to a computer that was connected to the internet or a mobile device that is connected to the internet, as well. So the next section actually leads me to a demo, which I'll do in the next about 1 minute or two. Links. So someone really asked when I gave the topic out for the presentation to be done, how possible is it to use just common links or a website link to hack someone's account? Is that really possible? The answer is yes. In my last presentation, when someone asks, how difficult is it to hack someone's device? And I was like, it's as difficult as clicking the mouse button. On that note, all that as it is we are saying is that what we do not know is that even though we as ordinary users may see an item as just a link or a word that's actually put in together as a website link, but they can actually be scripts that actually run behind those links. And with the right knowledge and right skill, you can actually take over somebody's either entire mobile phone device or the entire computer. And by so doing, the reason why we need to be careful is that because of sometimes our negligence, a hacker can actually infiltrate one person's device and then use that device to attack a company's or an organization's network, just because probably you were not vigilant enough or you were not observant enough. I'm sure either during the holidays, you may have heard maybe a friend of yours or maybe a colleague of yours complaining that his or her Facebook account has been taken over, or he or she has been logged out and he or she is not able to log back in. Sometimes they are just because of some of these links as it is we click on, because Ishmael would say when we're having this discussion that there are links that if sent to you without your ignorance, because you have your Facebook account or any social media account logged onto your phone, by just mere clicking on that link, your device can be taken over and those accounts, you can be logged out of those accounts, and whatever the person wants to use those accounts for can be used for. So today I would demo one of those instances. I'm going to demo just how to probably find the location of any mobile device who clicked on a link as this I may have shared about 5 minutes ago into some of my groups. Like I said again, it's just for educational purposes. No harm caused to your mobile devices. We are not going to take over your mobile devices or compromise any accounts on your mobile devices. With that disclaimer out of the way, why we chose one of the easiest one probably to just find the location of the device from where you are actually clicking those devices from. So I would just go into my browser and show what it is that happened. So if you were a friend of mine, probably I may have sent you a link that looked like, let me just put back the link here. Just a moment. I might have sent you a link that looked like this. So I sent a link that looked like this to some of my friends or some of the people who are close to me and some of the groups that I belong to. What I want to use this link to demonstrate is that by the mere clicking on this link, if you have already clicked on this link, that would mean that I probably would have had some basic information of the device as it is you used to click in this link. So if I come to my IP page where you want to see how many devices, this is only showing just 10 devices that have the last 10 devices that actually clicked on the device, the time they clicked on the device, the IP of the device, either the city or the country from which they are connecting from. You're able to determine the mobile type they use to connect the device. And also the browser from which they are connecting from. So let me share my screen. Were you already? Okay. Hello, Princess.
Yeah, hi, Stephen.
Okay. Was my screen still showing from the point where I showed the URL and the IP page? I think I realized my screen sharing was off. Okay. So, like the last message I said, I shared a couple of this link with some of my friends just before the meeting. And I'll just show the last 10 devices that connect. I'm not going to refresh that page as well. If you notice, Alice, I had one person clicking from France. I had the last 9 people clicking from either Takwa, Accra, Tamale. I even saw somebody clicking from the United Kingdom who clicked on that URL or the link as it is at shared. So what I'm saying is that if you're not mindful, this is just probably the surface of it. A hacker can actually go further if they want to be able to find more information. And one of the things that we could also see is that there's an IP from which the device is actually connecting from. And I can actually look for, no, not this, not the IP. I can look out the IP and find extra information on that IP. So copying just any of those random IPs from which one of the devices were connected from. Just waiting for it to resolve. You notice that I'll be able to tell the network the person is using, the browser as I had said earlier. And I'll be able to probably even translate this into coordinates. So this user's IP, which I have actually translated, you notice that I'm now able to find his location, which is this. This is the time he clicked on the link. The network or the carrier he was using was MTN. He used a mobile ISP. And like I'm saying, there are more things as it is you can do if you know your whereabouts. And if I actually take that IP and I actually go into any of the map, either OpenStreetMap, which is my favorite, which I tend to align with, you notice that we are able to determine by the red markers, as you can see on the screen, will be where he or she actually connected or clicked the link from. I'm going to try the same on Google Maps for us to see that both locations, irrespective of the maps in which you use it, you can still determine the location as it is we have. So the last one I'll say, I even remember around Christmas, it's seeing people sharing links like click on this link or share this link to multiple people, which I don't know, some certain people can relate with, and then we get 1,000 cedis or 500 cedis based on the promote as it is that is running. But one of the critical things as it is, I would always say you would want to pay attention to is the details in the URL as it is that is being shared with you. Some of those fake URLs, some way, somehow also carries the information that you might just need to pay a little more attention to those details to be able to find out that, okay, this link as it is that has been shared to me doesn't look genuine, it is fake. And you can actually go ahead to report it. After the last slide to my last page will be to show some places where you can actually report some of those fake links. Going forward, I'll go back to my presentation. And then it would almost be the 10 for Ishmael to take over from me to have another demonstration being done. But links as it is, we have before Ishmael takes over, can actually even come in different forms or formats, depending on who the hacker or the intention of the hacker or what it is the hacker wants to be able to do. I'll show a critical or an example of a spam email. Some of the things that we can also look at to pay a little attention to some of this detail. So, like I said, links can be used in different ways. It might just be sharing a URL with you to click. And the beauty about the URL actually sends to my friends is that it actually leads you to a genuine site where you are able to see whatever content I want you to be able to see at the end of the day. It will mean that I can actually pick the website of any company or any item. I just need to be able to encapsulate that data as it is I want to be able to do and whatever I want to be able to achieve at the back of the link as this I am sharing with you. So this is a typical spam mail that is in my inbox. You notice that most of these spam mails attempt to cause you to either click a button, or some of them would ask you for confirmation, or if probably you feel it's a bother to you, click a button to unsubscribe. These are things as it is you do not want to do. If they are from URLs or websites which you are not familiar with or do not remember that you actually signed up for any newsletter and they are pushing you to unsubscribe, you do not want to click, because at the back of the unsubscribe button can actually be a link that can actually cause damage to your device from which you are actually connecting from. So in this instance, they can actually embed either a PDF document or an image. Some of them can actually be in an image format, which they ask you to download to your phone. Will mean that one of the demonstrations as this really wanted to do was to also demonstrate how to send images or just a normal PDF file to any unsuspected or our target, where we send the person an image and say, oh, like, just have a look at this image, or it could even be a picture of myself, which I am sending to you. But the mere fact that you have downloaded that file and it sits on your device or on the mobile device as it is you are connecting, be it a laptop or like a mobile device as it is I'm saying, we can actually take hold of your current device from which that file is and it sits from, and it doesn't really matter. Sometimes even some of the antiviruses as it is you have on that machine or on your phone. So Ishmael will always tell the story where Alice, which is his popular name as he would always use, who is in an office, who receive an email from maybe the manager or the managers or the director of the company, instructing him ahead to take certain actions. But not knowing to Alice is that the boss or the CEO actually didn't send that email. If Alice actually carries on the instruction that was received in the email without probably confirming or maybe even taking a second look at the email address that sends the emails to her, by either clicking to either confirm an item or something, a file can actually be downloaded to Alice's machine, and people like Ishmael can go ahead to take over what they want to do over your machine and be able to how will I say, infiltrate either the network or if he wants to copy your files from your machine, be able to equally do the same. So Ishmael, if you are still here, you can take it over from me now.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, hi, I can hear you.
Okay. 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 Hello. Good morning. Hello.
Yeah, good morning, Ishmael. You can carry it from there.
Please, can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, please.
Okay. As Mauto was saying earlier, my name is Ismail Michel, and I used to work with the Computer Emergency Response Team, but currently I'm working with the SOC at NITA. The backstory that we are trying to use, that we're trying to use initially was not successful to a certain degree. So we are just defaulting back to another story, which is equally important. But so what we're going to do now is we are trying to have a user who unknowingly can just visit a link, then download something that would have me have access to his machine. And the moment I'm able to have access to the machine means I should be able to do almost anything I want with the machine, including routing traffic through his machine so that I can be doing things through his machine and people will be seeing that he's the person doing it, not me, or any other thing that I would have wanted to do. So right now, this is a link that I've prepared with a malware that is running behind it. So I'm just going to copy the link right now and run it into a browser. So immediately I run it into a browser, and this is something that I need to show. It's called Cobalt Strike, I think. That, as you can see, is empty. But immediately I run the malware, it will appear here. As you can see, the malware has already been downloaded, and all I have to do is click on it unwittingly. It could be a PDF file or any other thing. Now it's asking me, most people would try to ignore these kind of warnings. Your machine will actually prompt you, but sometimes some people will just want to click anyway because what they want to do, what they want to achieve, maybe it's a crack, it's something or anything. So I'll just click it anyway. And as you can see, when I click on it anyway, it will take some time for it to propagate, then to call home. As you can see, the machine is here. You can see my public IP address and my local IP address. The username that I'm having, the desktop, the name of my machine, whatever process that the malware is running on, and many other information. I should be able to interact with the machine, elevate my privileges, install any other thing that I want, use it as a VPN or something, or whatever I want to use it for. I should be able to browse your files, download whatever I want, see whatever I want, screenshot, see the processes and things. So basically, this is just to show you what can be done through the negligence of some users that can be done to their machines. And the threat actors are becoming a little bit very advanced in achieving their goals. So my advice is like users should be very very vigilant in the kind of links or binaries that they download from the internet, so that they shouldn't fall victims to these kind of things. I believe my presentation is not supposed to be very lengthy or something. I believe I've made my point. Thank you. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Ismail. Thank you for the presentation. And so, Stephen, you can continue with your presentation now.
Okay, so thank you, Ishmael. So what Ishmael actually did, which maybe if you're not watching critically, is to be able to download a file. And we are seeing that that file, as it is, he's attempting to illustrate, could be in any media format. It could actually be a PDF file. It would mean that you can have a PDF file with a script running behind that normal PDF file, or if it could even be a Word document, as it is, if you want to be able to share with you to take over your machine or your device. A meme or a simple artwork that you may know nothing about. If that image is sent to you and you click on the download button and the image or the PDF file or Word file is downloaded successfully onto your device, that will mean that the person who actually intended to take over your device can actually take over your device and do whatever he or she so wishes to do to that device. In certain instances, as it is, we could see, or even if I could remember on top of my head, there was one time I sent a media file, which is a video file, to a colleague of mine. Well, just a video actually I took, about a 5 to 7 seconds video I took of something and I sent to the person. My colleague actually decided not to download the media file. To my surprise, up to today, the file has still not been downloaded, even though it had no script or anything behind the file. But what the person actually did was to call me and ask me what was the intention of the file as it is I sent to the person, what was the content of that media file. And I felt that was a very good security mindset that the person actually really had, with the fact that it's not even because she trusts me or we do a couple of things together as well. We mean that every other file as it is I sent to her, she would or she had to really download. And so, like I'm saying, that file as it is I've sent to her is still sitting there, and it has still not be downloaded. So sometimes we should just be careful, even though not wanting to expose certain people to how some of these things can be caused. So we are trying to be a little careful of some of the things as it is we are demonstrating, so that we don't unintentionally show people how to take over people's either devices or machines. So we we are trying to do more of the education to let people know that these things exist, why we chose two of the simple bases of the attempts to really do, to let you know why with the first demonstration as it is I did with the with just a mere website link as it is I sent to a couple of my friends who clicked, we are able to find the person's location and even know the device the person is connected in that or more advanced. Couple of other things can actually be done. I also said in summary that from the onset, which if certain people can actually bear testimony, be that you may have actually known somebody who may have complained that he or her website or Facebook has actually been taken over by unknown persons, and up to today they've still not been able to recover their credentials. Some of those things that might cost us would be that once sometimes those accounts are taken over, it might be difficult to recover some of those accounts. Sometimes based on some of the settings as you may have on the accounts, if you've not changed some of the default settings to be able to prevent certain login or certain activities on the accounts. The accounts being taken over for life, and whoever has or have control over that account can use SIM to impersonate you wherever he or she wants to use SIM. While I always like to lay the emphasis on the fact that even though sometimes people say that, oh, I have nothing to lose, I am not a big person, or I'm not a celebrity, what do I have to hide? That is not the case. What we do not know is that by having access to either your device or any of those electronic devices would mean that I can actually steal your identity and use your identity to commit crime. And once it's your identity that was used to commit the crime, the law enforcement agencies will definitely come after you, not the one committing the crime, because it wasn't their devices, but it was actually the devices they use in committing those crimes. I'm going to share my last slide, where we can actually report some of those incidences if we fall victim already. What we can do would be that we can actually stop that cycle of not probably infecting other persons as well in the chain, so that it will actually be a break. So we find ourselves as victims of either a fake site, which we notice, we can actually report it to this agency either via WhatsApp, text, email. You can even go to their websites to be able to share that content. They will take a critical look into the websites or the link as it is you are sharing with them, and whatever necessary action they need to take, they have their powers and close to them to be able to do so. Thank you. If we have any questions, Ishmael and myself are here to
Stephen,
attempt.
yeah, you said
yes, please.
Yeah, you said you were sharing a slide, but it wasn't showing. It didn't show at all.
Oh, sorry.
So you can share your screen.
Yes, I'm sharing my screen right away. Just a moment. You're all okay. Here we go. My apologies if it didn't share from the beginning. So you can take this contact or SMS and send an SMS to 292 to have your complaint launched at WhatsApp. The number as it is you see above. You can go to their website and fill a form and it reports your incidents. So maybe I'll leave this here for some few minutes, and then we take questions if anybody has. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stephen, for this presentation.
I don't know
it's
if you
very
heard me.
enlightening.
Yes.
Yes, I did hear you. Yeah, it's very enlightening, and I trust that for our viewers watching live on YouTube, you have questions or you have concerns. And so looking through the comments here, so thanks, Florence Topher, for joining us, and also Al Hassan, Stephen, and all the others who are also here. And so Florence is asking, how can you undo the damage? So supposing you have realized you've been hacked, how can you undo the damage?
Hello. You want to take the answer?
Yeah.
Hi.
Mostly for a non-technical person, the best thing that I would recommend the person should do before they get hacked is to take certain steps to prevent it from even happening. Like, should in case, like even before it happens, you need to have a very good antivirus on your machine. Now, mostly Microsoft is kind enough to give people access to Microsoft Security Essential, which is a very good antivirus in my view. Make sure that you update it and ensure that you don't fall behind in updates of the system that you are having. I'm a firm believer in prevention than cure. So like, the point I'm trying to put across is like, just prevent it before, like put yourself in a better position to prevent it from happening. For instance, make sure that your system is updated. When your system is updated and your antivirus is updated, and you should ensure also that you have a backup of your files somewhere, always at each point in time. Most important files that you think you can't afford to lose, have them backup somewhere. And then once you are hacked by a malware, which means that the integrity of your machine cannot be guaranteed, in my opinion, just make a backup copy of your files and just reinstall the machine, just to be on the safe side, because you never know. Because somebody can just install something that they call a backdoor on your machine, and like anytime, no matter what you do, you can scan and do whatever. Most antivirus will be able to find some of them, but they will not be able to find all of them. And the person will still have a foothold on your machine or on your network, and the person will be able to do a lot of things. We have seen incidents at various places that I'm not at liberty to share, that the person was, that the initial machine that was compromised was taken off the network, but the attackers have already taken over the network. Like they were all over the place, and they were going around installing ransomware implants on the machines, and machines kept going down on like all over the place. This kind of, if you are a system administrator or something, this is your worst nightmare. You don't want to have it in your hand, because I assure you, you're going to have a very bad week. Not a bad day, a very bad week, because it's terrible. It's terrible. So like the point, basically, whatever I'm saying is like, just make sure that you don't allow it to happen. Have a backup, a working backup that you can test, and ensure that you don't visit links that are not that you cannot trust. You should not be using cracks on your machine. Ensure that you have installed or have a mechanism like controls that will prevent even people from installing binaries that you don't approve of on your machine at home, in your office, or on your personal machine. For instance, people don't want to buy softwares like maybe Microsoft Office. People don't want to buy it. If you think you can't buy it, there are other open source free versions that you can use, like LibreOffice or something, that are equally good somehow. But some people just prefer to use Microsoft Office. If you want to use Microsoft Office, I will suggest you should just buy. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Ishmael.
Thank you.
And
Thank you very much, Ishmael. Okay, Stephen, go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to add a little bit to what it is you said. So as it is you were saying, that would mean that some of the steps as it is prescribing would mean that you have some level of technical know-how. But in the instances where you do not have technical know-how, would be that you want to look for someone who has the technical know-how to be able to help you through the steps of some of the needful actions as it is you might need to perform on either your device or the machine on which those items have been infested with. And to reporting something as it is instead with the link, which I noticed on some of the links that was going around about either click this link or share this link and get some amount of money would be that some of the things as you want to pay attention to, like I'm saying, is that you don't want to be clicking links, even though okay, you've already clicked the link to visit the website. But the next thing will also be that sometimes because they don't attack you right from the fact that you are clicking the link, but the next action will be to either lure you to either click another button on the website. So let's take, for instance, the last one I saw, which was ADB having an investor, is 50 years anniversary or 60 years anniversary. One of the things you want to know is that ADB won't probably be doing that kind of a promotion with a URL or a website ID that do not point to their website. And then two, what you may want to do would be to either go to ADB's website to see whether whatever promotion as it is you are seeing from maybe a link which you are not so sure about, which do not have even the ADB website ID in the URL, is to do a normal search on your browser to see whether some of those items would come up for you to be able to now go and not click from wherever it is you are clicking them from. You can also, in certain cases, like Ishmael said, having good settings done on your machine, or in certain cases, either using VPNs or having browsers that blocks certain binary items, as it is he calls it, or malicious items that cannot easily run in some of the browsers. So there are some browsers that can protect you to some level, but the first protection actually would start from you yourself being vigilant.
Thank you very much, Stephen and Ismail. And another question is, how does one verify links and documents shared before clicking? Did you get that question, Stephen?
Yes, I got it. I wanted to see if Ishmael wanted to, since he is.
Yes. Sometimes people can shorten links. Like you see the link that I just shared. Sometimes somebody can use a URL shortener so that he will shorten it, so that he will hide it. So sometimes there is some browsers have certain plugins that you can use that can unshorten the link so that you will see the full link, whatever the person is trying to send, how you click on. Yeah, so like I think let me look at my browser and see if I can find one of it. Maybe I can share the name of the plugin so that maybe people can start using it.
Yes. So once he's doing that, I may also share some. So all the browsers as it is we use either
Mauto, can I share my screen?
Firefox. Yes.
Yeah, Ismail, please go ahead and share your screen.
Okay, 1 minute, please. Yes. Okay, this is a plugin that I'm using. It's called Neat URL. It removes garbages from URL so that like I'm not unwittingly led to click on any other on any link that I don't think maybe you send me a link, my browser will just unshorten it to show me the full link if I want to click on it or I don't want to click on it. And there are other plugins too that will like they mark URLs. Some plugins are able to mark URLs. I don't have one offhead. Like I don't have one readily offhead, but like it marks URL but based on their reputations, so that you should be able to know that like okay. And sometimes to the Google Chrome is able to show you that this particular page that you are trying to visit is not the page that you want to visit, and actually it hides the proceed, the link to proceed. You have to enable it before you should be able to proceed. Mostly is these kind of sites that people visit to download movies, these pirated movies and pirated software. Those are the kind of sites that you and sometimes the pornographic sites too. Yeah, people that actually like to visit pornographic sites. That's where mostly people download malwares. And then these hacking sites too, most of them. So you should be like, there are plugins that you can install in your browser that should help you in doing these kind of things. Like this particular plugin called Neat URL. Okay, Mauto, you can continue.
No, I think you've said the most important part. So if there are
no, I don't know. Maybe if you have something more to add, you can probably. Maybe I didn't say anything. I didn't say all of it.
Yes. So I'm just looking for the places to check how to find out some of those fake links or website links, and then probably share the URLs appropriately in the chat column so it can be shared to the listeners. So that's just what I'm looking out for, right?
Okay. Thank you, Ismail, for your answer. And so the next question is resetting your device an effective means of combating systems that have been hacked?
I would say yes and no. It's not that simple. Depending on who is targeting you. If it's a state sponsor, these kind of APTs, those we call APTs, and those state sponsored attacks. I believe maybe you have been following the news about, if you are in the cybersecurity circle, you would have heard about NSO, an Israeli cybersecurity firm that produces one-click malware for mobile phones. It's able to even hack iPhones. So with that kind of malwares, resetting your device would not be, in my view, will not be the best way to go. Just discard the device. But with these, just these off-the-shelf malwares and those ones now, you are fine. You can just reset the machine and you are fine. It's like I would say 90% of the time you are fine if you reset your machine, unless you are targeted by a state-sponsored attack. You are better safe without a device.
Now, interesting. Thank you, Ismail. Stephen, do you have anything to add?
No, I think that's all he said. That's why I kept smiling. I said that one somewhere and the person didn't believe, because some of those viruses can actually infect the virus. It depends on the level, like he's saying, and depends on who is being targeted, or depends on what the hacker wants to be able to achieve. A mere formatting may not solve the problem, depending on what malware has actually been placed on your device. There are times where the attack is actually at a system level. And so it can actually even control your phone the way they want to be able to have it controlled. But like he's saying, most of the times, for maybe normal people like us, 90% of the time when you do a normal reset format, yeah, okay, to go. But it's a step in the right direction.
Sure, thank you. And so the next question, what are some basic steps to take in protecting our mobile devices? Who would go first, Ismail or Stephen?
I think Stephen should go ahead.
Okay.
Because you're the security person, okay. So like one of the things which I'll pick on would be always ensure your devices are up to date, irrespective of which device as it is you are using, whether it's as long as it's electronic and it comes online. Because the most secured or protected or safe device is something that is offline and probably off, because physical access is also one level of security. So once the device doesn't go off or it's not off or dismantled and kept somewhere in storage, It means that you have to ensure that that device is up to date. The next thing, as it is here already made mention, is to pay for licenses once you are on a proprietary solution. Because using cracked solutions or cracked applications, you actually leaving backdoors for other people to be able to either flood the systems as it is you are using, be it a mobile device or a computer that you may have on your device. So if you have a cracked Windows on your machine, you have actually opened your machine to any form of malware or whoever finds that device sitting on the internet. And one of the things we should also know is that the internet is just a connection of machines on a network. So whilst I'm here, I can actually talk to a different machine, probably sitting in the US or sitting in Japan. And so whilst you have systems that are not well secured, at least on default, will mean that you actually open up your doors to a lot of attacks to that machine. So ensure that your devices are safe, pay for licenses. If you think you do not have licenses, you can come to the open source site, which I advocate for most of the times. You can use open source applications, which are free to use by their nature of license, and you might not have some of those issues. Ishmael, you can add to what I have missed.
Hello. Yes. As the question was asking, saying, how can you prevent them? It's by denying people access to your devices. Don't allow people, like the people that you don't trust, to have access to your mobile phones. Because I've seen instances where spouses have installed malware on the device of their significant other, just so as they should be able to watch them do whatever they do, maybe if they are womanizing or something. So in the security field, they have this maxim that they call total, like physical access is a total defeat. When I have access to your machine physically, then I've defeated you totally, because I can install whatever I want on your device. Number one, by denying people access to your device. But as I was saying earlier, unless you are being targeted by a state-sponsored attack, some of the exploits to be able to take over your device remotely is beyond the reach of an average person, because they cost a lot of money. At least those kind of exploits cost like to be on the conservative side, it can cost like $50,000. So no, like I won't pay $50,000 just to spy on my wife. Somebody who has the reason to do that would pay that amount of money. I believe I'm making the point. But on a personal level, denying people access to your device is very key. Some people just leave their, like I don't ascribe to this argument that people say, me and my wife knows that there should be a certain level of privacy, although she has interest in it, but there should be a certain level of privacy in it. Sometimes whatever you are looking for, you might find more than what you are looking for. So basically, the point that I'm just making is just deny access to people from from having access to your phone or your device. Just by that, because if it's you know how to use a device. Somebody might not know how to use a device. You might install something that you never know.
Thank you very much for this information. And so our next question is there a way to check if your device has been hacked? Very important. How would I know that my device has been hacked? What are some of the signs to watch out for?
Yeah, the malware designers are very insidious. Sometimes they design the malware, if it's a proof of concept malware that maybe somebody's trying to develop the show, the person would do something to let you know that. But these malwares, they are very insidious. Their communication even is kind of like encrypted. They try to blend in. So it's a little bit hard for you on the personal level, unless maybe unless you get somebody who knows how to do it to check the device and to know whether the device has been compromised or something. And then furthermore, what you can do is ensure that on your mobile phone, you have a malware scanner. that you can scan, that you should be able to scan. It's not the best, but it's a step in the right direction. You can start doing that so that you know whether you are at risk. And sometimes to one thing, people don't. This one is unrelated to it, but like that I've seen a trend that people have their social media accounts being taken over. Sometimes there are leaks, like usernames and passwords that get leaked from time to time. People like maybe on the side of the service provider, the service provider is not able to secure the data properly so that it gets leaked. When it gets leaked, it's out there. People can just buy your username and passwords and month for just a few dollars, maybe like $20. The person can get like your email and your password so that it's just out there. People can just use it. If I have access to it, I can just start going through to see whether I have a username and password that I think I might be interested in, and I can take over. And when I'm able to do that, I should be able to do a lot of damage in your name, or even take over. Sometimes when they take over, they start asking people for money on your behalf. I believe I'm making a point. So like, but it's just by the way though, unrelated to the.
Thank you very much, Ismail. Yes, Ben, do you have any additions?
So what was the question again? I think I lost track.
How do you know your device has been hacked? What are some of the signs you should watch out for?
Okay, so some of the signs actually that you can actually look out for when you can actually determine your devices have been hacked is that all of a sudden probably your device begins to run slow, even though you have enough space capacity on your storage device. Or without you adding a lot of files, you have noticed that some of those storage devices are getting full without even you know what it is you have placed on your device. Or your sometimes your mouse or your task can be jumping without even you do any items to it. With this reason, as it is, I'm saying when your devices are actually taking over, it can be for different purposes. People can actually either store items on your device to mine Bitcoins. And so the reason of it, using your processing capacity of your electronic device to either achieve certain personal aims, and all those things can actually have how to put it in for the lack of a better word, have performance issues on the electronic in the electronics. So once probably you notice that all of a sudden your electronic devices have started acting funny than normal, then you should know that probably you need to probably start taking steps to check if you have any malwares on your device. That would be the list of what I want to add, knowing that we are running out of time.
Yeah, thank you very much. And so with a follow-up question on this, is it possible, let's say your device has been hacked, and so from the perpetrator hacking, is it possible that let's say the perpetrator hacks your device and doesn't see any valuable information or value from your device? Is it possible for the perpetrator to go back? I said I don't have the right phrase to use. Or once you've been hacked, you've been hacked. That's it.
I get your the tangent that you're going. Let me show you something. But from my personal observation, I see that it's just economics. Hacking is just pure economics. Hacking your device, no, like the person will not want. I just don't want to hack the device just for hacking's sake. I have to hack the device because there is something that I want from you. It's either, as Mauto is saying, to use your device to mine cryptocurrency, which will give me money, or anything. Or maybe the person who is hacking you has a motive. You have certain information that the person wants. Are you getting me? That is the motive. The person has to have a motive to hack you. If I want to hack you and I hack you and I don't have anything to gain, there is no point in me doing it, going through that trouble, because it's a little bit of hard work to do all this hard work for nothing. So there's no point in me doing whatever I have to do. Are you getting me? So basically, at some point in time, it's economics, and at some point in time, it's information based. I want to know
what you are hiding. For the hackers like these, like just on the like on the in the wild, hackers in the wild. I mean, they are the ones that are purely for economic reasons. He will hack you, encrypt your files, then he will ask you for money. He will hack you, use your machine to be mining cryptocurrency. He will hack you just to mine your username and password so that he will sell it to get money. Are you getting the point I'm making? It's purely based on economics. It's economics or information, either one of the two. That can be motive for driving somebody to hack you.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your answer. Stephen, would you want to add up?
Yes, so I think Ishmael has hit the nail right on the head. But critically, like the person saying, once somebody has hacked you, there are a lot of things the person can see. You might not have any valuable information, but the person can actually copy certain information. He can actually also sell because he can data mine certain amount of information from the device he's been able to have access to. Because bear in mind, when I started, I was talking about digital footprint. So you've been using that device for close to a year or two. You probably would have made bank payments on that device. You probably would have done transactions on the device. The device actually has a log of most of the items or the things that you do on that electronic gadgets. That person, even though you are saying my thing to you is not valuable, but the person can max all the data and sell it to somebody who might be looking for some of those information. And I also said something critical about identity theft. And so even though you are saying that the person might not find anything valuable, but your identity can be everything about you, and the person can use your identity to do any other thing he or she so wishes to do. So we do not want to give the people or persons the option to be able to hack anyone.
Okay. Thank you so much, Stephen. And so we're wrapping up very soon. So the last question from Florence, she was asking about buying antiviruses. Is it safe to buy an antivirus? And our devices always say when we get an antivirus.
Yes. It's very, very crucial. It's very, very important that you buy an antivirus. If you don't trust Microsoft antivirus that comes with your machine, you can buy others from the market, like Kaspersky or any other antivirus that you. Some people just will be like, antivirus is slowing down my machine, then they will disable it. But that's your safest bet. That's your first line of defense. It mostly would for a very huge percentage of the time, like 60 to 80% of the time, it should be able to detect the malware, unless the malware is kind of like a very special breed that it should be able to bypass. And one more thing, people are always trying to find ways to trick antiviruses so that they will run their code, but the actual code that will compromise your machine is kind of like is known. Everybody knows that kind of code, but the means, the avenue that they will use to get into your machine, that is what the antivirus is always trying to protect. I believe if I'm making sense, that's the means that they are trying to get into your machine. That's what the antivirus is trying to protect, because the antivirus already knows the shell codes and stuff that can compromise your machine. That is why they are able to identify most malwares. So it's very important that you have an antivirus on your machine. Very, very important.
Thank you so much.
And it doesn't, nowadays, it doesn't cost much for you to get an antivirus. It doesn't cost much. Like, I think 200 cedis or 2 to 300 cedis, you get a very good antivirus for your machine. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ismail. And we are far away from time, and we'll end it here. We are trusting to have more discussions on topics relating to our safety on the internet. And thank you so much, Stephen and Ismail, for making time to be with us and to enlighten us on this very important topic. And so before I end today's discussion, I want to introduce you to an a resource that is very important. That's called the eLibrary USA. So the eLibrary USA is a state-of-the-art digital library with 9 premier electronic databases that includes digital newspapers, magazines, journals, videos, and dissertations. So usually this resource is only available to use in person at our American spaces. With the global pandemic, we are opening up access to this amazing resource. So if you're interested, sign up using the link that will be shared in the comment section below, and you can enjoy all the features of this eLibrary USA. And so this program was brought to you by the US Embassy Ghana, American Canada in partnership with Mobile Web Ghana. Thank you all so much for joining today's discussion. And this concludes our program for today. Please follow us on our Facebook page as US Embassy Ghana, also same on our Twitter page. And so keep ensuring the safety protocols since it's still COVID. And if you are yet to take your vaccine, do well to take your vaccine. Until we come away next time, do have a wonderful day.